much later than normal.
Yeah, super late. An hour and a half later than normal.
Yeah. I apologize for anybody that wanted to go to bed early, but now you can't.
You gonna turn into a pumpkin, Chris?
No, I'm fine. I'll be good.
Well, you have to be.
I'm here.
I mean,
Why are we late?
baseball.
Base.
As you can see,
Ball.
MVK coach, MVK, all up here.
Where's
you see
your
that?
shirt? Jerry, where's your coach's shirt?
Baseball. Well, my coach's shirt is in the laundry at the moment because a chicken decided to poop all over it.
A chicken shat on it?
Yeah, it did.
I think shat is one of the most underrated words.
It reminds me of Shatner.
No.
Really?
Yeah, as soon as you say Shat, I think of Shatner. William Shatner. What are you doing?
What's he doing? He's turning knobs.
Needs volume.
I need volume.
Either way, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I had chickens that apparently didn't want to go back to the coop tonight. I don't know why. They always normally do, but I got home and I would have been here earlier, but I had to carry all of these chickens back to the coop because they're dumb. They're dumb animals.
But they sure do taste good.
I mean,
You know what you should
they
do?
lay eggs.
Just shoot them.
No, I want my chickens. No, I want chickens. I want them.
Shoot them.
Shoot him!
Shoot them, Elizabeth.
Shoot him! That's all I got out of that movie was or that TV show was shoot him.
I want chickens. I like having chickens. They're just so dumb and so fragile. Any animal can kill them except for a possum. A possum won't.
The possum won't kill
Really?
a chicken?
No, they just
I
eat
think
their
that's.
eggs.
Did you just make that up?
I'm 100% telling you. I've had 2 possums just hibernate in a coop for multiple days. Didn't even know it. And all they did was eat the eggs and didn't bother the chickens in the slightest. And the chickens didn't care that they were there. They'd go in the coop. They'd go in like the nesting boxes, lay eggs, and then walk out. And the possums would just go over and...
The possums lay the eggs?
No, they'd chew on the eggs and eat them.
Yeah,
Do possums, they're marsupials, right?
They're the only North American marsupial.
Really?
Yeah.
So they have a pouch.
They have a pouch. They have a prehensile tail.
What's that mean?
It means they can hang from their tail.
Oh, yeah. Like Rocket Knight Adventures.
I don't know what that
The old
means.
Sega game where he's a possum knight and he can hang from his tail.
Okay. Well, you just said possum, and you didn't know that they had the
Well, I forgot
prehensile tail?
about Rocket Knight Adventure, Jerry.
Oh, well, so
I was just
that-
playing it the other day.
I know possums
What? I
make
don't
good
even know what
targets.
that game is.
It's an old Sega game.
And you have it?
I do. I have the original cartridge from when I was a kid.
When's the last time you actually played it?
Like a month ago.
Really?
Yeah, I bought like one of those Sega Classics.
Yeah.
But this one you can actually put old game cartridges into.
Oh,
It'll take the
cool.
cartridges.
So it's like an emulator.
So it has a bunch of games loaded up, but it'll still accept cartridges. So I have tons of old Sega games. I got Mortal Kombat 3. I got Batman Returns. I got Rocket Knight Adventure,
Interesting.
Sonic 2. Got all kinds of stuff.
How come Nintendo doesn't?
I
do
got a
something like
baseball
that?
game. I got a hockey game.
You need to invite me over.
Yeah. I just downloaded NHL 94 on the Xbox.
I
It was
had-
on Game Pass, which Game Pass is awesome.
Yes,
It is.
It is. It's
It
worth
is.
every penny.
I need to get... I played NHL 95.
Maybe it was
on-
95. I
On
don't know.
Game Boy. And I would play as the Mighty Ducks every time. Because, obviously, Mighty Ducks. I mean, come on. I didn't follow hockey. I only knew the Mighty Ducks. And then I found out, oh, this is a real team.
Well, it turns out that game is extremely hard to have any idea like what's going on.
Well, I played it on Game Boy, though, and I didn't think it was that hard.
I don't know. I tried to play it with Cash, and I played it for like maybe 10 minutes. I'm like, we can delete this one.
We don't need it.
We don't need to do this.
Was that hard?
It's not that it was hard. It was just,
Hard for Cash or you?
no, it was just, it's hard, and it's also not that
I took that
interesting.
as hard for him and not cash.
Yeah, I thought so, too.
But I also downloaded MLB The Show, the new one, 21.
I want it, and you don't want anything about it.
No, I mean, it's fine. I played it a little more since I talked to you last. It's,
Hey, Chris, do you enjoy your new Xbox?
I don't have a new Xbox.
Wish you did. I want one so bad.
By the way, if you haven't noticed already, Dude's back in the studio, making his return after
Long
months?
hiatus.
It's been a while.
4
Been a while.
months. I don't even know.
Huge hiatus.
Not quite that long.
And the whole idea was we were going to have Dude on because he was going to act as a moderator for a trivia challenge
Right. That we don't have prepared.
that we don't have prepared because it's 9:30 at night.
Correct.
Because we were
And we don't want to
coaching,
spend 20 minutes preparing.
because we were coaching baseball,
Because we were directing you
in the midst
molding
of a
young
battle,
minds.
molding young minds
In the midst of a
towards
battle.
something. I don't know what.
I don't
but
know.
just trying to teach kids how to swing and hit.
A lot of yelling, a
pitch.
lot of cussing. Oh, it was horrible.
Down and ready.
Ready possession.
Down
Take
and ready.
2 steps every pitch.
The downside is you guys get to do that and it's a lot. It's like 3 days a week. Well, 2 days a week, sometimes 3 with a practice. But I still have to do T-ball.
Yeah, I know.
Still the head coach of a T-ball team.
I'll have that next year
Yep,
because
It's like herding
I've got
cats.
one
Chris.
more kid coming in next year. Hey, Chris Henderson, what's lies? What are we lying about? I would like to know.
Maybe Rocket Knight Adventures?
I don't know. Or raccoons or my chickens?
Prehensile Tales?
No, that's not
chicken,
a lie.
A chicken pooping on you?
Jay says, we want Pagoda, not this guy again.
Oh, Pagoda. Well, I mean, he's not invited.
I mean, he can come back.
No, I mean, no, he doesn't want to, apparently. I've invited him many times. I work with him day in and day out. He just wants to stay home,
And do
not
nothing?
be my friend.
Just drink beer and watch TV, huh?
I guess. I don't know. 95 Ducks.
Quack.
I don't know how
Quack.
to say those
Quack.
names.
Quack.
Timu
Quack.
Solani and Paul Chiera.
Oh, nice.
Is that the right way to say that?
I don't know.
Do you
I
see
don't
the-
know anything about hockey other than the Blackhawks?
I don't know.
And
Seedentop.
Wayne Gretzky. That's
David
it.
Seedentop
Wayne
posted
Gretzky,
that.
yeah. I used to watch the Detroit Red Wings.
Oh, yeah. They were good for a
Well,
long
I was
time.
always the Ducks battling the Red Wings for the Stanley Cup every time I played the 95 game. Like
Lots of
every
times
single time.
I would be the Red Wings, and I think
would
solely
too.
because I like their jersey or like their logo, which is basically just
a
like
wing.
Yeah.
One wing with a wheel behind it.
I don't know. It's simple. You know?
It's like a wheel. But the Mighty Ducks, man. They had the purple jersey, like the purple and black, and
Well, it was like teal and something. They had like
yeah,
the
but those
hockey
are
mask.
those are the bad Ducks,
those are the good Ducks.
not in the show, which
No,
we're going to
I
talk
understand.
about
Is that
later.
the new one?
I
We'll
understand.
talk about it later.
With Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, Emilio.
Emilio.
Oh, David said Timu Sela.
I
that
just
doesn't even make it better.
said this.
Oh, I did. Well, I didn't have it open.
I just read that. Oh, wait. Timu Selani.
Timu Solani and Paul Correa.
Timo Solani and Paul Correa. I know those names, but I don't remember them being NHL players. Apparently,
Nope.
that is the fact. Because David is our fact checker. He just won't come on the show and do that.
No.
Thank you.
Nor
for that.
cook us our meal.
How come David won't come on the show?
That's true. Good question, dude. I'm glad you brought that up because I've been wondering for, 2 years now. Because we've asked him to come on the show. He just has this weird thing where he doesn't
Weird
want to come on the show.
Phobia of millions of people listening to him.
Millions.
Mil-
He's
yes.
worried about the millions and millions of people around the
Millions
world.
and billions.
It is a worldwide podcast, but should you be nervous about that? No.
No.
Just come on and fact check.
Yeah, they love us in Russia.
They really do.
Ruski?
And Canada.
It's time for the snarf.
Yeah.
Get the vodka. Get the vodka.
Get the vodka.
It's snarf time.
It's snarf time.
You got potato? Get the bear out the house. It's snarf time.
Both scored.
Because they wrestle bears. They do. They wrestle bears in Russia. It's a
and
fact.
ride horses
Yeah.
without shirts on.
Right.
Not
well,
just Putin.
does
It's
that.
Putin. Because he's a
Rasputin.
badass.
Rasputin.
I heard that guy's
That was a
got
guy.
bit of a member.
Really?
Yeah, he's known for it.
Rasputin, yeah.
Well, I
famous.
would never have looked that up.
Oh yeah, that's like what he's known for.
Rasputin is.
Service the Tsar's wife.
Tell me more. I don't know.
They have his body on display.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Where?
in Russia.
Why would it be in Russia?
I don't think
Bring it
that's-
over to
you're
the
thinking
Museum
of
of Science and
somebody else.
Industry.
Am I thinking of somebody else? No,
Yeah,
you got me.
Stalin.
Images of Rasputin's body.
Yeah, I don't think that's on display.
Ugh, don't
Just-
Google that.
Please tell me what his body looks like right now.
His body was found under a river of ice,
Oh,
approximately 200 meters downstream from a bridge.
did they dump him off a bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he had-
they killed him. They tried to kill him a bunch of times.
Well, I mean, a bunch of times. You only need one.
Mysterious death. His hands were bound, I think.
Yeah.
What about his member,
they stabbed him and slit his
I don't think
throat.
they're going to say that on Wikipedia.
Please
but
tell me about his lower half.
You're really interested in this, Jerry.
No, he brought it up. I want to know
concerning.
if he's correct or not.
I'll look
need
it
to
up. Talk amongst yourself.
Okay.
You need Ducks. Both scored 100 points in the 95-96 season for the Ducks. So,
Ooh, really?
Timu Solani and Paul Correa both scored 100 points. That's a lot.
That's
If you add those together, that's 200 points.
in one season alone.
Yowza. That's a good
impressive.
team. That's why I loved them on the 95 NHL Game Boy game, I guess.
I might be thinking of somebody else.
I'm pretty sure you are.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
No.
Well, he had a problem with that. He had to have pants tailored.
I know.
To his
There's
Johnson.
audio of it. I think we've talked about it
We
before,
have
but
talked about it.
It is hilarious.
Yeah, you need to bring the crotch down for my Johnson.
He said something
I don't
about,
know what
I
he
need a
said.
stitch from there to my bunghole.
He did say bunghole.
The mysterious post-death journey of Rasputin's dong.
What?
There's a whole story about it.
Well, now you have me
History's
intrigued.
most influential. I'm going to say dong because it feels like the most appropriate word.
I would say penis is the most medical term.
Okay, that's true.
Do you really think he was that influential? Really? I mean, John Holmes in the 70s was a lot more influential.
Duped a bunch of Russian nobility into thinking he was a prophet and rose from his humble beginnings as a peasant. He somehow played a part in the miraculous cure of, don't say that name, don't know what it is, Tsarevich. Alexei's.
That's the one Tsar child that had the
Syphilis.
blood disease that when he got a cut, he would just keep bleeding nonstop. I can't remember the medical term for it.
Basically, he was a cult leader,
Yeah.
and it was like
Yeah.
a sex cult.
Sounds hot.
He was involved in a big-time orgy group called the Kalixti.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's all there is to know about that.
So how did he get so high?
Around this time,
That really-
Rasputin became infamous not only because of his gargantuan gland he was carrying around in those loose Russian pirate pants, but also for his proclivity of his escapades. He became such a notorious horn dog that his rumored affair with the Tsar's wife reached the front lines of World War I, where soldiers openly talked about it as though it were fact. Rasputin was known for getting down and causing trouble. And both of those things led to his horrible death.
Really sounds like my life. You know,
What, the horrible death part? Or
getting
you
down and
messing around?
causing
Yeah,
trouble.
yeah.
Sounds like a regular Saturday for me. But with my wife, of course. Then I cause trouble after.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Raising hell.
Yeah.
What do you do?
That's what
when
I
you
do.
raise hell. Somebody raised hell, by the way, in one of my fields and drove over a ton of beans, and it really pisses me off.
Really?
It looked like a group of ATVs or
Hell-
side-by-sides.
Hellions.
Yeah.
I would blame Keith Pfeiffer.
I think
Ruffians.
Yes, I think that's the ruffian I'm going to blame.
Yeah, I would too. That sounds
I mean, he's
ridiculous.
got them brand new mud
Like
tires, and they were dirty. They were dirty tonight.
Local?
He must have did it last night after the ball game.
A local field?
Yeah.
It's got to be them.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? It's one of my fields, so no, 3 counties over.
I don't know. Down by Dwight. It's not necessarily like... I meant local to the area we're in right now.
He's got a point.
Local to the area, in an infamous area of where people like to go off-roading, much to my chagrin.
Much to my chagrin.
So now I'm posting cameras all over.
A good idea. You want more?
No, I bought 10.
Why would you buy them? I got like 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I bought 10 cameras.
Trail cameras.
Trail cams.
Yeah. I
Wow,
got-
that must really tore the shit out of your beans.
This has been going on. People are stealing wood.
You need to quit buying them and ask
Oh.
me and Gary and
My
David
cribs.
for trail
cribs?
cameras. Could have give you at least 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah, well, I got 10.
Has Jerry ever shot the crib before? Like,
I don't think so.
What do you mean shot the crib?
Were you doing that? Were you a ruffian that was doing that on my private land?
No, I've literally been in the truck with you while you drove through the crib going 60 miles an hour thinking it was a good idea.
What?
As long as you're
and I was white-knuckled
straight on the narrow.
Oh, you
and I was white-knuckled the entire time going
straight through the opening of the crib?
yeah.
Like where you pull through?
It gets about an inch on each side.
I would say barnstorm, but it's a crib, so.
It is a crib.
Let's not advertise this as a thing people do.
Oh.
I don't need any more ruffians.
Park something in the middle of the crib and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, big cement block.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean.
Could put spike strips. That'd get them.
No, put like an old plow that you don't use in the middle of the crib.
Right, then somebody's going to run into the plow and die, and then they're going to...
Not your fault.
Just have one of your minion workers take a bunch of nails and put them in a 2x4, bury it just right underneath
that one you probably would get in trouble for. The plow you couldn't get in trouble for.
No, park
That's not my fault. You have
something in
tires.
there you don't use.
I do have a plow.
I know you do.
And you don't use it.
No.
Park it in the crib and let it rust there. And if they run into it,
the crib is falling down because people have stolen so much wood that it's just starting to crumble.
Oh man, that's a shame.
That is sad.
Yeah,
people stealing
Thieves.
barnwood.
Don't ever buy a barnwood sign.
It's a big thing.
It's stolen wood.
Not all the time.
100% of it is stolen wood.
No,
that's not a true statement, Chris. You're making that up.
It's not 100%.
90%?
A very
let's tone it down a little
large
more.
majority of the percentage would be stolen. I guarantee.
It's not real, Chris. They don't steal that wood. It's in your mind. It's just Marley.
No. A lot of people steal wood.
Have you seen my crib, my barn on 47? People are stealing from.
I took it
on 47
cords of wood off that.
That's because we did your basement, Jerry.
Besides that, a lot of other people are stealing wood, not me.
Yeah, I once had a hobo set up camp up there
on 47
in the little shed.
That's not a hobo.
No, a guy took wood off the barn, started a fire in the shed.
Hold on, time out. Let's get back. Was he a hobo? I thought hobo was a railroad track people.
Yep.
Was
hobos
he
aren't no.
Was he a hitchhiker?
Hobos are anyone that are on the open road.
Is that a vagabond? That's a vagabond.
Yeah, I agree with Jerry.
I think vagabonds cause trouble. I think
hobos
just live a wandering lifestyle.
Then Jerry would be a vagabond.
So do vagabonds. Vagabonds just travel around the world any way they can. Hobos travel the railway.
Thank you, Jerry.
Let's look up the definition of a hobo.
But they also have
homeless person, a tramp, or a vagrant.
A vagrant, vagabond. Man. Look up vagabond. It's the same thing.
I don't know what happened to this computer where it defaulted to Yahoo search engine.
That's silly.
But it infuriates me.
You can put your
I know, but I'm not going to do it right now.
Well, I mean, you should have already had that set up. I don't know what you're
Vagabond is a person who wanders from place to place without a home or a job.
So the same.
Well, Jerry, good news. You're not a vagabond.
I don't know. I could be.
You have a home and a job. You're by definition not a vagabond.
See? I want to be,
You also
though.
don't wander from place to place, except it's from your kitchen to your bedroom.
I do. Sometimes I wander. You never know. But I do have a home.
Do you have wanderlust, Jerry?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I want to wander.
You lust for it?
I lust for wandering around the country.
So some...
You want this dick.
Rasputins?
You want my dick.
Rasputins?
That's what they... If none of you have ever seen
fast.
No, if none of you ever seen the movie Wanderlust, you need to.
Yes, I have. I love that movie.
It is.
Well, I wouldn't say I love that movie. It's a decent movie.
It's pretty good. Any Paul Rudd movie I'm in for, and that Paul Rudd movie has the greatest scenes I've ever seen of him.
So anyway, I had a hobo that took wood off the barn, went into the steel shed, built a fire,
vagabond,
and took a big poop in the corner inside the shed.
So he must be eating well.
And then, so the next day, I have a friend that's in the sheriff's department. So I called him and I said, "Hey,
can you analyze this poop?"
No, I said,
"Come take a look at this shit."
I said, "Hey, I would like. I think it would be hilarious if you would try and convince a detective to come out here and DNA test this pile of shit." And he thought it was hilarious as well, but it didn't happen. So,
can you get DNA off feces?
I don't think so.
I don't think you can.
Yes, you can.
Of course you can, right?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Dirk said turn harrow sections upside down.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
That's basically a spike strip.
And he also said he's more of a miscreant. Huh? Miscreant?
Miscreant? What?
That's
miscreant.
I think miscreant is causing trouble. A miscreant is causing trouble.
But he really
places.
didn't cause trouble.
A person who behaves badly or in a way that breaks the law.
I thought
breaking the law, breaking the law.
A miscreant causes trouble or breaks the law in places. A hobo is just wandering. A vagabond wandering. Miscreant, they're causing trouble.
Yeah.
But that makes sense for the people that are taking the wood off of your barn.
Those are miscreants.
Those are definitely miscreants.
Not the guys taking it to build a fire. That guy, he needed some warmth.
Well,
apparently
the big pile of
somebody
crap,
needed a sign. Somebody had to have a nice barnwood sign in their basement.
I think I've got it.
Every
says
woman
Snyder
listening.
family. It says Snyder family and Farm Boys. I have 2 of those signs.
Where'd you get the wood from?
I don't know. A lady in the area that may have gotten
named
it
Marley
from certain places.
While you're in there, Christopher.
I have. While Chris is goofing around over there, I have a bit of a spring stretcher. I'm going to call it a spring stretcher, but I don't necessarily know. I don't know if it really stretches my springs more than just aggravates me slightly. So it's not something I would complain about every day because I can say that I have done this before. I've done it before, but I will never do it regularly. And that is put food in an oven before it's preheated. There are people that set their ovens to preheat, right? And then set the food in right away. Let's say you're cooking a pizza, frozen pizza, and it's like it needs to cook at 400 degrees. And they type in 400 degrees, boom. And it's preheating to get to 400 degrees, they immediately put the pizza in the oven.
Well, why would you do that?
Yeah.
People do this.
It's crazy. Buy a pizzazz if you want.
I'm telling you.
Exactly. Who
It's
doesn't
the
own a
same with
pizzazz?
chicken nuggets or any of these frozen items that
Wait,
you're going to
Are
put
you
in
talking about your wife?
Yes, he's
No,
talking about his wife because they don't have an air fryer.
We have a pizzazz, though, so no, you can cook a lot of things on a pizzazz.
But air fryers are so much easier.
No, it's not my wife. It's not at all. There are people that do this.
Name
in
Amy.
the world. No, Amy doesn't do this. She would know this is against my
Can I
code.
piggyback on your spring stretcher?
Yeah.
Because it kind of goes along with him. And this may or may not happen for my wife. Refusing to set timers
Oh,
Yes.
man.
or refusing to read directions on any sort of meal, like any sort of food.
Okay, well, listen up. For the timer thing, a lot of times I don't set a timer because
It's not preheated?
You go off
no,
beer time. Like
because I'm
half a
usually
beer.
there. I'm usually there and very apparent. Like I'm cooking, I'm actively cooking in the kitchen. So when I put something in the oven, I'm normally right there and checking on it regularly.
So you're
You're one of
somebody
the-
that
yeah.
would stretch my springs.
Yes.
Why?
Because you're not setting a timer.
Yes.
No, you don't need to set
You
timers
wasted
for everything.
30. How many times do you check something?
You can
and
put
waste your
cinnamon
time?
rolls in an oven that is preheated. You have to preheat it. If it is preheated, you can put cinnamon rolls in an oven. As soon as you smell them, they're done.
That is untrue, Jerry.
No, it's 100% true.
You are
as
wrong,
soon as you
Jerry.
smell them in your house, pull them out and they'll be done.
You're wrong.
David says, why don't you guys learn to actually cook?
Hey, I know how to cook.
What is he talking about? You have to preheat an oven before you cook something.
I think he's referring to packaged foods and like pizzas and...
How young are his kids?
So chicken nuggets are just
David,
off
you
the
have
table
baseball
for
every
him.
night of the week. Every night of the week.
This is just not... I'm not going to...
I bet you I could cook a better meal in my
Ignore
air
that.
fryer than David could cook.
Well, he can't cook us a meal, apparently, because he owes us one.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a 9-course meal he owes us, and he's never done it. And he won't ever do it because he is so scared to live up to a certain potential.
I think he's going to do it.
That he can't
He's
do
already
it.
said, he's already asked if we had any...
You know what he
special
should do
requests.
is cook a meal for you guys live.
It's a great idea.
That's a really great idea. We're going to bring all of this equipment to his house
Yes.
without even telling him.
He also said, my crime show junkie wife says you cannot get DNA from feces. So
See?
that answers the question.
I don't believe that.
You're going to doubt her?
I'm not going to
You don't think...
I'm not
You don't
doubting
think...
her.
So your butthole doesn't bleed?
Does your butthole bleed?
Absolutely.
Regularly?
Jerry, that's not healthy.
That's not healthy.
Yeah, you need to go see
your
a
butthole
doctor.
should not be bleeding.
You don't think a vagabond's buttholes bleed?
Your
You
wife's a nurse. You should know that.
You got hobos and vagabonds out there eating just any kind of meal that they can come to.
Jerry, they're not fucking goats. They're human.
They are. You are a goat at that point because you will eat anything that comes in front of you that is edible. Their buttholes bleeding. They're bleeding in their stool. DNA. Boom.
I don't think that's how it works, Jerry.
I'm telling you that
I'm not a forensic scientist by any means whatsoever.
I have been for 10 years a forensic scientist.
No, dude. Jerry, you're a lock master. There's a big difference.
I thought it was hand in hand. It's not, I don't know. Either way, preheat your oven, folks, because it's stupid.
And set your timer.
I mean, for certain things, yes.
Okay. Poop. Turned out poop, any DNA sample would not have been a good one. Only if epithelial cells are in the feces.
Epithelial,
but
your
these
skin cells.
may be degenerated.
Can you read?
I don't know. It's been a long day. So it would have been highly unlikely and not probable for a good DNA sample.
What about blood in the stool?
I just don't think it's that common.
Can we have something
I don't know how commonly your blood has.
Jerry,
still has blood in it.
I think homeless people have a lot of bloody stool.
I think you need to see a doctor, my friend.
I didn't say I bleed my stool. I'm saying homeless people have really bloody, loose stool.
Have you been around a lot of homeless people?
Oh, all the time. You ever went to Indianapolis?
You know, there's so much homeless people pooping in the streets of San Francisco that they have an app to locate feces on the streets. They have an app.
I don't.
That's true.
Really?
That city has gone to shit, man. Literally.
Literally. You need to get that. You need to get that checked out. San Francisco.
If I lived in San Francisco, I'd walk around with a shirt that said that this town has gone to shit, literally, on the back. I'd say literally.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. I would make that shirt and sell it on the street and make $1 million and still not even be able to afford
Why don't you do that?
Why
don't you do that? You can make it now and sell it in San Francisco.
I was in a house today, working at a house today, planting trees, that had to be like a $5 to $10 million house. It was insane. It had two I told you this. Mm-hmm. It had two chimneys on the back. Chimneys. All right.
Chimney.
Get my chimney.
Could you say that one more time, please?
It had
all right.
Two chimneys that were like probably 12 feet across that spired up from the roof of this castle that twisted. They were twisted chimneys.
They were turned.
What?
It's like this guy asked the brick guy. He's like, hey, how much to put a twisted chimney up there? The guy's like, I don't know, like $250,000. He's like, give me two.
I'll take two.
They're right next to each other. Why do you need two separate chimneys right next to each other?
Well, two separate parts of the house.
It could be one for like two different fireplaces, upstairs and downstairs. But still, you can
David
combine
has that.
that
My
into
brother-in-law.
one large chimney.
You could, but if they're in the exact same portion of the house.
They are. They're right next to each other. These two spiraled chimneys.
So the houses next door, how many chimneys did they have?
The rest of the houses next door were pretty standard, but this one was a legit castle.
This guy wanted to go, F you neighbors. I want to have a spiral chimney. That's all I'm hearing.
He had one of those where you drive through the middle of the house, and then there's like a courtyard on the inside.
Nice.
And he had his Range Rover parked there. It's crazy.
Ooh, Range Rover.
Yeah. You know, Range Rovers are super expensive, but I hear they're kind of shit.
Why?
They're just not very good vehicles.
Like not built well?
They used to be very well built.
Used to be, yes.
They used to have like the Range Rover contest. They drove like from one tip of Africa
which
down to the other.
Which one's the better one, the Land Rover or Range Rover?
I mean, I think
Land
Rovers are more known for like being like
high end.
Jeepish.
No, Range Rovers are like they're both high end, but
it's like Mercury and Ford. Like which one is which? For Range Rover,
they're both Mercury.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but the Mercury or GMC always has like better packages.
It's kind of like Cadillac and Chevy.
I think your Range Rover is more your suburban vehicle, and the Land Rover is more like you're in the bush,
like a Jeep.
But the Land Rover pales in comparison to the Toyota Land Cruiser. That is a way better vehicle. It's probably the best like all-terrain
Land Cruiser.
Toyota Land Cruiser. You don't see a lot in the States, but if you go overseas, you see them all over. When I was in Africa, that's all we had. I rented one in Costa Rica, a diesel Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Sounds fun.
I actually got upgraded from a compact car to a diesel Toyota Land Cruiser.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I just got off the airplane, and they're like, we're going to upgrade you to this. This is all we got.
Yeah, you could put all your luggage on top of it.
We need to go back to Mexico, Chris.
I've got to go back to Costa Rica.
Let's go
Costa Rica. That's my in-laws' favorite place to go.
It's great. Land Rovers share a ton of parts with a Buick. Why? Land Rovers are British, right?
Well, Buick is GM.
He has a tiny dong, but 2 giant spiral chimneys.
Chimney. That's a funny word.
Chimney.
I like the way you guys are pronouncing that instead of chimney.
No, Chris or Jerry, you're saying it wrong.
Chimney.
Chimney.
Anyway,
you can hear it. You can hear it.
Let's move on.
I have a Snarf recommends.
Ooh, Snarf recommends?
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
It's a big time. So Snarf definitely recommends. I went with a group of people. Mr. Seedentop is one of them, the guy who comments random bull crap.
Oh, thanks
on
for
our
the
show.
invite. Did you get an invite, dude?
Nah.
Oh.
No, you weren't invited.
We're not special, apparently.
At all. It was I was invited by other people to go there for a birthday. I didn't create the plan. Do you understand?
Yeah, you just executed it.
No, I just went with.
Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So it's a place called Lexington Social. That is the name of the restaurant and bar. It is in Lexington, Illinois, a very small town. You would assume it's like a hole in the wall. You get to Lexington, and it's a blue and white barn. Just a big barn in the middle of nowhere, like this small town. We get in there. Everything's open. So they have literally like a hayloft, barn doors open. You can see in the place. You get up in the restaurant, and we got there at 7 o'clock. Our reservations were at 7:30. So we were 30 minutes early. They're like, yeah, you can go over to the bar. Bar is very small. Just like 4 chairs there, and it just kind of was in a small L shape. So there was nobody at the bar, and we just kind of stood at the L corner, and we're talking to the bartender. Well, he's like a bar manager, and he was the one who did everything. He created the drinks. He made the menu for like what the bar was, but he was so incredibly involved with what was going on with what they had for the menu and what he did with drinks. So we were at the bar for 30 minutes, and he just showed us the menu and like what he had like available to make, and we tried a lot of them. And I don't know, just like being involved with him and getting like a social aspect, talking to him. He loves his job. He's from Chicago. He grew up in Chicago, knew nothing about like small town life. And the guy who created and started Lexington Social like had contacted to him, I don't know how, and said like, I want you to come down to this place. I'm starting this, restaurant. He's like, okay, I don't know what that is, but I'll come down there. And he did. And he got to Lexington, and he was like, I made a huge mistake. Like, why am I here? Why am I doing this small town thing? But they committed so much, and he was like putting so much effort towards it. It was amazing to get his drinks. They were so good. Like,
what kind of drinks did you have?
Literally, they were all custom made, but I mean, you could get different tequila drinks, vodka drinks, whiskey drinks. They had different beers that were only going to be sold
basically
to him.
Chumbawamba.
That was like Chumbawamba. Yeah, we were tub thumping.
You were tub thumping
while we were there. But he's got like specific beers on tap that are only coming to his bar. And he was really great. So we had that experience. It was awesome. Then we get down in the restaurant when we were seated, and they have a very small menu. So what we ended up doing as like a group was ordering all of the appetizers and all of the menu, like the entrees, because it was pretty small. And then we just shared it with each other. And it was one of the greatest experiences I've had at a restaurant that I can remember. Like even going to Chicago, I went to Girl and the Goat. I went to a couple other places in Chicago that were amazing. We spent too much money, but it was really good food. But this wasn't too much money, and it was food that was on par with that, and the experience was just better. I don't know. It was awesome because you're in a barn, a very small
David
atmosphere.
says it was an old train depot.
So
okay.
Is this place air conditioned?
No, it was open.
Interesting.
It was like literally wide open when we were there. It might be. They just had everything open when we got there that night.
He also said best restaurant I've ever been to in Illinois, south of Interstate 80.
That's coming from Scene Top?
And yes.
That's highly recommended.
So what did Amy think of it?
Loved it. Every second of it. She loved it.
Every second of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't she?
Just wondering.
Oh,
So it seems like you know something.
I know.
I heard she really liked the bar.
She did. Oh yeah, she drank a lot that night. That was the most intoxicated I've seen my wife in 10 years. Since she turned 24. But that isn't because of the restaurant. That was because of everything that happened like outside of the restaurant. But yeah, the food amazing. We loved everything about it. They had incredible oysters. Amy and I were not oyster fans.
Ooh.
And then we were there and had theirs. For some reason, we liked it.
I love oysters, man.
Oh, I hated them.
One of my favorite things in the world.
Amy and I have always disliked oysters. We've tried them multiple times. We had them in Aruba. We had them for our honeymoon in Punta Cana. We had them at multiple different places in Illinois.
Yeah.
Did not like them. That night, freaking great. I mean, they were literally great.
Good times were a-flowing.
It was, one of the best experiences ever.
Fresh oysters in Central Illinois.
Ooh,
But they're flown. They are brought to them every day. I don't know how they do that.
Oysters, I don't know. You can get oysters in the mail alive, and they live for a while, like wrapped up.
Yeah.
In wet
they
newspaper.
And they do that. They get live
Probably
oysters
aren't
every
flown
single
in
day.
every day.
They usually
like
send them in a
can.
burlap bag, wet burlap bag.
Yeah, but I mean, you can. Get
I don't
them
know
like that.
for a fact where they get them, but they are fresh every day to that restaurant because it's a special, like, appetizer on their menu. What I really liked is the owner of the entire place was basically a server. He walked around the entire place. He was in the kitchen. You could see the kitchen from where we sat. But he also walked around to every single place, literally like bringing out food the entire night. Like you would never know he's the owner. He had a apron on. He was kind of dirty. Like he was just walking around all night delivering food and talking to people, getting their opinions on things. And then I found out from the bar manager, Greg, that this guy was the owner. His name's John. I don't remember his last name. It starts with an F because he told me. I told him I was going to talk about him on the podcast.
Nice.
Specifically because the atmosphere was just amazing, and what he was creating in that like small space was.
David said the menu is seasonal and changes all the time. Their special tonight was a soft shell crab sandwich. That would be right up my alley.
Well, it was there. They had a soft shell crab sandwich when we were there that night. That was Tim McDonald's favorite. That was his favorite dish. Yeah.
Sorry, I went that way.
I could cut that out. That was Tim McDonald's favorite dish when we were there. Was the soft?
I
shell
like
crab.
soft shell crab.
So if you're in Illinois and you can be around Lexington,
it's not
Illinois,
far from here.
No.
Lexington's not far at
What's
all.
that? 45 minutes, half.
Not even.
It's two stops
probably 45
before
minutes.
Bloomington. You got Towanda right after that.
Towanda.
Stay away from Towanda. Go to Lexington.
Dude's having an allergy attack over here.
But seriously, if you're looking for like a date night or a night out with friends or something like that, look up Lexington Social. It was amazing. Like I can't recommend it enough.
There you go. Very highly recommended. We also had a Snarf Talk road trip this weekend.
We did.
Yeah.
Have a Snarf Talk road trip. The first road trip of 2021.
It looks like there'll be more because the Bristol Renaissance Fair is happening this summer.
It is. I sent you that.
But yeah, we went to, what was it called? Happy
Acres?
Happy Acres?
Heavenly Acres?
I thought it wasn't Green Acres, and I said, wow, they really missed the chance at that. It was something Acres.
No, it was something with an H.
I think it was Happy Acres. Yeah. Campground up by Rockford.
Or Holiday Acres?
Yeah, sure.
I think that's what it is. Holiday Acres. Holiday Acres in Garden Prairie, Illinois.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a good time. We had nice weather for it. I mean, it was cool, but that's good when you're camping.
It was rainy on Friday when we left, and it looked to be pretty miserable. I mean, for that time, because it was rainy and cold. And for someone like me sleeping in a tent.
Yeah. Peasant stuff.
Peasant style camping. Cold and raining isn't necessarily ideal. But we got there and it kind of quit raining. It was a little like sprinkly. Set everything up, and after that it was like absolutely beautiful every single moment.
I taught Jerry how to ride a bike without training wheels. You might have seen that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, check out our social media and you'll see the post of Chris teaching me how to ride a bike for the first time.
We expected to have a lot more content, but turns out we just chilled.
We just lived our life.
Yeah, it was pretty chill.
The best thing about camping is the escape from reality.
Yeah.
For me, it's like you only live, like your only existence at that point when you're camping is to wake up, eat some breakfast, stare into the abyss of a fire.
I do like how somebody had said, I think it was Kristen, had said, like, did any of you guys see something like what so-and-so put on Facebook? Have any of you guys checked Facebook? And like 4 of us were like, we haven't even looked at our phones this whole weekend. And we're all like looking at each other, like patting ourselves on the back. We're like, whoa. Yeah. And she's like, oh, so you didn't see what so-and-so put on Facebook? And we all go, yeah,
we saw that. And we did. But to be honest, we really didn't look at any social media whatsoever. We didn't really interact with social media at all, but we did happen to see the exact same post that everyone else saw. And we did post on social media the one time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just
love
the
was
escapism.
Not a Snarf recommend. Although we had a good time and they were large spots, everything was broken or under construction. They had no pool. The pool looked like
just real bad.
It looked real
bad. It was like heaving up out of the ground.
They had a little mini golf course that literally looked like a clown was murdered.
All it had was like leaves and the maple
creepy,
seeds
though. It was
all
straight
over
up looked like a horror movie.
Yeah.
On that, like, don't get caught. That could have been a horror movie about mini golf, which we should write.
We should write, and apparently, and every character is going to trip over everything across the mini golf course.
Just like fall on,
because that's what you do.
And none of the bathrooms worked or were open.
Ooh. So that was my biggest.
We rented
complaint.
a golf cart, and the charge would last like 15 minutes.
They brought us another one though,
and that lasted about 15 minutes.
But they also brought us a charger.
They had to alternate chargers on the golf carts.
Yeah, they brought us a charger though, and we had one charging all the time.
Mike rented a golf cart.
It worked out very well, honestly, because we did use the golf carts often, and it was fun.
Because you had to go a mile to go to the bathroom.
Right, I did walk there once.
It was a long ways.
I walked there and back one time. I walked there because I had to go to the bathroom severely. 2. And then by the time I got back, I was like, well, I worked up another one. That's not true. But it was like a long walk.
All right. What do you got?
So I got some friend of the show just texted me that you can get DNA from feces.
I know you can. I already said it.
Hold on here.
It's because of the blood.
You can't.
The blood in the stool, guys.
You can get bacterial DNA is what the thing that I read. Like if you want to do a culture, like for a
they're using a lot of technical terms that I do not understand. So,
yeah, no, you could get, like you said, epithelial cells, which is your skin that comes off if you have a hard poop, And then if you have an even harder one, you're going to bleed all over it.
It's not routinely done.
Well,
impossible.
Severe rectal bleeding.
So if you eat razor blades,
yes,
don't murder somebody.
I think that's what I'm going to have to name this episode. Severe rectal bleeding. I think everybody's going to be like, that's what I want to listen to.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. Do you got some news?
I do have some news. Let me bring it up here. Amazon.
Wow.
Amazon.
They're now making chimneys.
They bought the chimneys, and they also bought this film studio, MGM.
Yeah. Is that like finalized?
It has been finalized.
It did go through?
For $8.45 billion.
You know what that also includes? All of their hotels and casinos.
Oh,
that
like the
I didn't
MGM
know.
Grand. Yeah, I heard about it today on
I'm
Joe Rogan.
I'm staying at the MGM Grand in Vegas.
Is Vegas still
in a month?
Is it still open?
I'll go. I'll go to Vegas.
I am going. I don't
Ted
know. I didn't invite you.
Not that long ago.
Not with you. I said like on a separate trip.
Oh, okay.
You're going to visit your family, aren't
No,
you?
I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were going to visit family or something.
My sister used to
Oh
live
yeah,
in
she
Vegas.
doesn't live there anymore.
It's been years
Yeah.
since she's lived there, Chris. Come on, keep up with the times.
Okay, sorry.
I'm going just because I was asked, like, hey, you want to go to Vegas? I was like, yeah, all right, we're going. Anyway, Amazon, yes, bought MGM. They announced after they bought it that they have plans of re-imaging their IP. That kind of makes me nervous.
What does that mean? And what is MGM IP?
Oh,
Getting
you've
rid of
got
the line?
RoboCop, Stargate, James Bond, Rocky.
They got James Bond.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, that's
James
MGM.
James Bond is United Artists.
Negative. Ghost Rider. MGM. Look it up on your little contraption. there.
I'm looking it up right now.
On your little black contraption there.
Jeff Bezos, meet James Bond. It's literally the first sentence.
Oh, really? Why would they say that?
Well, you're right about something for us.
James Bond
Finally.
and Rocky to TV series such
I
as
couldn't get the blood.
Handmaiden's Tale and Fargo. So they got a ton, right?
RoboCop interests me.
Here's what
the one remake was horrible.
Here's what makes me nervous. When you hear companies talking about reimagining IP in today's day and age, what has happened is it's all and I don't want to get like political or anything, but it's like the whole woke culture. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
There is a woke culture that is happening with most entertainment, and it makes me nervous that they're going to reimagine this IP as that. And it is across the board shown it does not work. Nobody wants it.
Never works.
Nobody has asked for it. And they're consistently like putting out content that
does frighten me.
is not good.
Like a lot.
And the reason I say that is in my next news article is about Cruella.
Okay.
Yes.
Haven't seen it yet.
So Cruella came out, I think last weekend or the weekend before, but in the opening weekend, it got $27 million. It is considered a complete flop. A Quiet Place 2 doubled its gross compared to what Cruella did. It was like $45 million, so maybe not double, but $45 million compared to the 27. But A Quiet Place 2 grossed more than what Godzilla vs. King Kong did.
Well, to be fair, A Quiet Place was a huge movie.
It was.
And it's a big franchise.
It was a huge movie, you're right. But
It was a good
Cruella
movie,
came
too.
out.
I never saw it.
So I didn't see the first one either.
I don't watch horror movies.
I want to, though, because I love John Krasinski and his wife.
Yes.
Yeah. Emily Blunt. She has a name, Jerry.
And I couldn't remember it. Sorry.
God, you're just giving the woke culture all the ammo they need, Jerry.
So, yeah, Cruella was a complete flop. And
What are we doing to be more woke at Snarf Talk? It's the wave of the future in entertainment.
No, it's not. It's not. It's being proven that it's not because people don't want to hear it, don't want to see it. Like, what they're doing is just so upfront and
The problem
abrasive.
is that they will if you shove it in their face long enough.
Well, and this is what I'm getting to.
If you get another generation in,
Yeah.
it's all over.
So, Cruella.
Well, yeah, look at
failed, and the reason it failed is because it's not necessarily woke, but it was the media came out and said that it was going to be an adaptation of the Joker, like a female adaptation of the Joker movie. It's going to be similar to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie, and it's
a Disney movie.
I know, but the media was posting all this. The director, the cast, everybody involved that was interviewed had said, like, it's not really that way. Like, we appreciate that you're putting us in a category of a movie that was in the Academy Awards. And, like, Emma Stone was like, I'm not a Joaquin Phoenix, like, caliber actor. Like, I'm never going to be to that level. I appreciate you putting me in that category, but like, this is not that movie. And the director came out and said the same thing, but the media shoved it out there. It is a Joker remake, but feminized. And you can look it up, and it literally says, like, Joker feminized, Cruella coming from Disney. And then it comes out and it fails because then all of the reviews that come out say it's nothing like the Joker. It could never live up to the Joker. It can't be this. It can't be that. It was like set up for failure to begin with because of what the media portrayed of what it was supposed to be. So when I say woke culture, that wasn't necessarily woke culture, but a lot of it has to do with poor media portrayal in a lot of the stuff that comes out nowadays.
That is true. Well, I thought about watching it because I'm a Disney fan, but then I thought, wait a minute, it's a crazy lady that wants to skin puppies and make a coat out of them.
Well, I
went, wait a minute, Disney's not going to do that movie. They're going to do something else that's not going to be that.
So what they did was a fashion artist. So Cruella wants to be like a fashion mogul.
Oh yeah, she kind of makes sense. She wants to make Dalmatian coats,
right?
Out of puppies.
She does, but it was stemmed off of a something that happened from her childhood because of her parents. So her parents had these dogs that were trained a certain way that she didn't like or mistreated her or were like mean to her. And then her growing up said, like, I don't like these dogs and I want to create fashion out of their coats because of the way I was treated as a child. And she starts to try to be this fashion icon because of her childhood and like the past that was negative. What I have heard from, there was a couple guys at work that actually went and watched it in theaters because of their kids. They all said that the soundtrack, incredible, like one of the best soundtracks they've heard.
Really,
very, very good soundtrack. And some of the articles I read and a YouTube video I watched said the soundtrack is like on par with some of the best, but the story and what was portrayed of what it was supposed to be and what it actually is clashed so much that it just failed miserably.
Well, I'll wait for it to be free.
Yep.
Yeah. So will I.
But
I'm gonna give it the time of the day, like to see it.
Just like their latest princess movie is not out yet.
Which one?
The Disney. What's the name of it? The dragon movie.
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon.
But no, it's not free yet.
No, it's not free yet.
No,
it
July
probably,
I think.
Probably will be soon, but
I think it's July.
Because Grace was like, I want to watch it. And she's like, all right. I'm like, we'll buy it. She goes, oh, $30. I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, we'll wait.
It's not worth $30. I'll tell you that.
It is not. I made the mistake.
I did
it's not
too.
Worth $30. Last little thing I got for news-wise is more of a rumor mill type article.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is rumor.
Ooh.
I know.
Better be good.
This is a bit of the rumor mill.
What you got?
It's about the Batman.
Ooh, that came out like this morning, didn't it?
Yeah, Warner Brothers thinks the Batman is absolutely terrible.
Really?
Yes.
That's what they're claiming. So, again,
this is Warner Brothers would come out and say that.
Wait. No, just wait until you hear the rest of my article. The person that has reported this is apparently...
Is the Joker.
No, I mean, it's not far off. Apparently, in this world of the rumor mill for movies and television and in media, this guy is taken very seriously. And we are in a day and age where people can be taken seriously with any name they want to come up with. And this guy has very good sources that has said Warner Brothers does not like any of the finished cut of the Batman and wants them to reshoot the majority of it because of Robert Pattinson. They don't like how he's playing Bruce Wayne. They don't like how he's playing the billionaire. They think he's terrible. And then Matt Reeves argued with a lot of the executives at Warner Brothers saying, like, listen, I had to deal with this guy the whole time. He didn't want to cooperate. Him and Zoe Kravitz apparently butted heads big time during the whole shooting. Did not get along. Had a really weird like altercation while filming. It was like a big to do. And they want to reshoot some scenes of Robert Pattinson as just Bruce Wayne. They were saying that the action scenes were good. Other things were good. But they also complained that Robert Pattinson as Batman didn't match up to his stunt double very well because he refused to bulk up and train the way they wanted him to for the movie. And Matt Reeves also said this, according to the source, and the source is a YouTube scooper named Dictor Van Doomcock.
That's a great name.
This is where we're at for news.
Yeah.
In 2021, it is a legitimate news source, and
So you
people are
think the
taking
rumors
it
are
seriously.
legit?
From Dictor
No.
Van Doomcock.
Do you think that rumors are legit?
They're not, because he actually, that was a problem when he was trying to bulk up for the role, is he was having problems bulking up, and he ended up putting on the weight to perform the role. It was all the stuff I read. This is
Because this came out. I just saw
This
remember
came out
when
this
they
morning at
cast
9
him.
hours ago.
Yep.
It
I remember
was,
when they cast him, there was a big thing about like how directors love working with him, and
I
he's
know.
like very.
And apparently there was an argument. I don't know. This is all from Dictor Van Doomcock.
I am so looking forward to this movie.
I'm still looking
Like,
forward to
I
checking
am
out that
too.
guy's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like he even said, this guy even said, like, listen, I normally have very good sources.
Dirk said that's the name for your podcast today.
Dictor Van Doomcock.
Well, it might be.
And
That's taken.
Victor Van
Yeah.
Doomcock and rectal bleeding.
Rectal Van Doomcock. Bleeding Van Doomcock.
We might get sued.
Why? From Bleeding Van Doomcock?
Yeah, he might be. He's probably a millionaire.
Well, sources
Okay.
like this,
He's apparently got very good sources, but he also said, "Take what I say with a grain of salt."
he's trolling.
So I don't know. They put it on par with like
Because
the
I
Last
made it
Jedi.
up to get a million clicks.
Maybe
Yeah,
he might have.
So fake. So there was another thing on YouTube. This big TikTok YouTube celebrity, who was like is real big into during the election and politics. She was a big Bernie supporter, and she would make videos wearing like "Eat the Rich" shirts, and she was like a hardcore socialist or communist, whatever. Okay. And the last video she posted, this was a big thing because the last video she posted was a tour of her New York City $2 million apartment that she bought.
Hypocrite.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh! $2 million, huh?
Yeah.
Eat the Rich.
Eat the Rich.
Yeah.
Turns out
Aerosmith had a song called "Eat the Rich."
Yes, they did.
They also had a song called "Dude Looks Like a Lady,"
Living on the Edge.
which wouldn't work today.
No, you can't make that song.
I bet you can't even play it on the radio.
That's a good point. I've never thought about that.
Wokesters, man.
Woke culture.
I loved that song. I used to. I had
Well,
that.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
I had that cassette.
You can't play Mrs.
Yeah,
Doubtfire.
yeah,
The
anymore.
man.
one with the cow on the front with the udder,
Yes.
with the pierced udder. I had the cassette.
I had that
tape,
too.
And when I was in high school, I used to run, like just to exercise.
Yeah.
And I would put on.
I'm glad
What was
you
the
had
name of
to-
that album?
I'm glad you had to tell us
Well,
why
like,
you had to
not
run.
in track.
Well,
Like-
what was the name of that album? I can't remember. Was it Eat the Rich? No, it wasn't Eat
No,
the Rich.
I thought it was "Living on the Edge," but it
No,
was.
no,
It's
no.
not.
Living on
It's
the
Get
Oh my gosh,
because
what
it's
was it?
Pump.
Rich.
Pink was on it too.
No, it was Pink. Well,
No,
it was-
Pink was not on that album.
No, I think he's right.
This is a 90s album. No, she was not. It was,
no,
a 90s album.
this song is called Pink.
No, it's not on that album. It's way too early.
No, because Pump was their previous one that was
Get a Grip.
Get a
Get
Grip.
a grip.
Was Pink on it?
No.
It had
Pink's my
title
favorite.
track was Pink.
On Get a Grip?
No, I made that up.
No, that's not right.
Side 1 was
Living on an
Eat
Edge.
the Rich,
Yeah.
Living on the
Get a
Edge.
Grip, Fever, and Living on the Edge.
Yeah.
Side 2 was Flesh, Walk On Down, Shut Up and Dance.
Shut up
Come
and
and
dance.
Dude, looks like a lady is not on this.
No, it's not.
I must have had a greatest hits tape.
Dude, yeah, that's not on that album. But I had Get a Grip.
What's the,
I had the
what's the next
CD.
one? Because
That one came out before Dude
it
Looks
should
Like
have been
Lady.
90. When did Mrs. Doubtfire come out? Was it like 93-ish?
Four.
94-ish?
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to look up. You look up,
I'm looking up Dude Looks Like a Lady.
and I'm going to look up Mrs. Doubtfire.
It was on Permanent Vacation. That was the
That's
tape
it.
I had.
That's
Permanent
it.
Vacation.
Yep.
93.
And Permanent Vacation was 87.
Really?
It came out, yeah.
93, Mrs. Doubtfire came out.
93.
So Permanent Vacation came out in 87, and they used a song from 87 for the
Apparently.
93 movie?
That was definitely the tape that I had. Permanent Vacation. I also had the other one with the udder.
Oh, I had Get a Grip.
Everybody had
Big
Get a Grip.
time.
Everybody did.
It was
Hey,
all
that's
about
our
that.
next. We're not doing it tonight, dude, so don't ask. But that's our next Snarfioki is, well, should we make it a surprise, I guess?
Yeah, we will.
We have another Snarfioki on tap.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be amazing. So all you Patreon subscribers,
Gonna be a real tearjerker.
get a grip.
It's gonna be a real tearjerker. Get ready for the sappy side of Snarf.
Oh, God.
It's good.
It is good.
Do you got any more news?
Let me look. Did I have any more news? No, that was my last one. The Dictor Van Doomcock was my last.
Victor Van Doomcock.
Dictor
Dictor.
Van
Dictor.
Doomcock. That was my last rumor mill. You got anything?
Oh, no. I don't prepare.
Okay. Dude, do you have any news?
No.
I'm not.
we were
I do
literally
have
putting-
one little thing. I did finally watch the Eternals trailer. We talked about it last week, but I hadn't
Ooh.
seen it. Did you see it, dude?
Yeah.
And I know
I
Jerry
have
saw it.
another thing of news. Go ahead.
Eternals trailer, and I guess you were kind of negative about it. I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree with all of the points that you had.
I had another one sitting here, and it was gone, apparently.
Go ahead. I got thirsty.
Oh, all right.
It just there's not much that goes on necessarily in the trailer, but
No,
what I
there
will it's a
isn't.
teaser trailer first off, so
Yeah.
chill.
But it's a teaser trailer that is almost 3 minutes long.
But it looks amazing.
Yes.
I think I'm very
absolutely
worried that
looks
it's going
amazing.
to be very generic.
Well,
Yeah.
A very generic.
so
movie.
I'm not hugely familiar with the Internals.
I have no
Nobody
familiarity.
is. Nobody is.
Nothing. I know nothing about it. Nolan had said that the Black Knight was supposed to be the bad guy, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be the main protagonist.
I don't know.
He was in the Avengers. I looked up the character. I didn't know even who that character was.
No, I
Black.
The Black Knight. He was like he's basically like the Eternals version of Thor.
Yeah.
And he is in the Avengers at one point. And his sword is a Stormbreaker level weapon
Yeah, but I don't think he was always good.
When's he? Oh, he's in
in the comics.
comic book.
I don't
right?
think he's always good, though. And I think this is like an introduction of the character where it'll be he's not necessarily good in that movie, but he will
He's going to be good.
later.
It's Kit Harington. They're not going to make him a bad guy.
At the beginning, he may be bad. By the end, he will be good.
No, I don't think so.
Kind of like an anti-hero.
Because they
type
have a
guy.
scene where they're all sitting around a table and they're like
I don't
talking
remember
and
that.
joking. Yeah. No. He's not
I don't
gonna be
remember
bad.
him being in it like that much. But I don't know. It doesn't blow me away by any means.
I wouldn't
You
say it
don't
doesn't
get-
blow me away. It looks amazing, and I'm
It
intrigued.
looks very good.
Yes, it does look beautifully done, and it looks phenomenal. But I was
But
like,
so did John Carter. John Carter
From
looked-
Mars.
John Carter looked amazing, and
I love
everybody
that.
thought like
I love that movie.
Nobody else did.
SWAT.
You were one of the 10 people that liked that
Well,
movie.
there's 2 people in this room that like that movie.
You
Swashbuckler in
people are
space.
Silly. It's not a good movie.
It's like the Phantom in space.
Ooh.
Okay, I would take the purple suit over
Jerry, have you watched The
this
Phantom
guy.
yet?
Yes. Yes, I have.
We'll talk about it. We're going to do our Snarf Talk homework later.
Yes, later.
You said you had another trailer or something.
No, I do. I have a little bit of news that I posted on our social media that Netflix and Mark Millar have put out.
Oh my
that
God! Yes. How do we forget this?
Jupiter's Legacy.
Oh, Dirk's the third. He likes John Carter.
That got
Dirk, you're supposed to be on my side. Dude, me
What?
and Dirk, hand in hand. We always agree. He was...
Yeah, you're his spirit animal.
I was supposed to be your spirit animal, and you're here going to tout John Carter? Come on. Nobody likes that movie.
it just ended that poor actor's career. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, well, they buried him.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, that and Battleship.
Anyway.
Battle
So-
shit, I like to call it.
Yeah, Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix. A lot of people were ready for this.
I liked
Chris
it.
loved it.
I really did. I
loved
liked it. I didn't. I wouldn't.
Absolutely loved it beyond compared to
No,
anything else in his
that is
entire
not the
life.
review I gave of it.
More than his children, he said.
I said it was an adequate, basically an adequate show.
Yes. You did, and you told me I
Hence
should watch
why
it.
I never watched it, because I was like, well, if Chris is saying it's adequate, I'm not wasting
You
my
would like
time.
it.
Honestly, I
would like it.
I liked the first episode. I watched the first episode and I was intrigued. And it's not like I didn't watch it for any other reason than I forgot. Like I literally forgot. There's just so many things I'm supposed to watch that I forget about a lot of things, and I did forget about it. And apparently a lot of other people forgot about it because I don't know. Netflix doesn't release its like the views on things or what is being watched.
I think they do now.
No, they don't.
No.
They will tell you what is like the highest viewing thing on Netflix, but they won't
They
release
tell you
the
how
views.
many days it's in the top 10.
Right. And where was Jupiter's Legacy in that?
They said it was in it for a while.
Not enough.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Mark Millar came out.
long story short,
What happened was Mark Millar came out and put some tweets out or a post on some sort of social media and said, we are going to step away from Jupiter's Legacy characters and focus more on the villains of that world.
and that they're releasing
And they're
the actors, and it was
From their
kind of an
contracts.
ensemble cast. And the idea is there's no way they would ever be able to assemble that cast again because they're all pretty well working actors.
right.
It was a pretty high profile cast. I mean, not anybody that like is super famous, but recognizable.
Listen, this is a way of saying like
It's done.
we're done with the show. We're not re-signing you.
Right.
So
and
they
they're-
can say
but they
we're
said specifically, we will never be able to get the cast back if we changed our mind. So
I don't
that
feel
means
like
it's
that's
over.
true though.
Well, that's what they said. I don't know.
Right. That is what they
so
said.
is that they're canceling it without saying they're canceling it.
No, they said they can't. They basically said they cancel it, but the characters will be back in spin-offs
And Mark Millar, so the whole
because they have the whole Millar
verse. Yeah, the Millar verse is still continuing, and they're not abandoning.
and they're doing
that
a spin-off of Jupiter's Legacy.
of the villains. They want to focus on the villains from Jupiter's Legacy and create a whole new show from that, and that's what they're gearing towards now. And I'm assuming it's because it just didn't do very well.
My
in its
biggest
opening
thing with
season.
that show was I never said it was spectacular, but I did say it's never dull, and they move the story forward, and it's one of the only things that I've seen where I actually wanted the flashback scenes.
Yeah.
Because the origin part of it was the most interesting part of it.
The funny part about
I'm gonna have
that
to watch
is,
this now.
well, but what I read in that article was that there was too many flashbacks and people were sick of the flashback scenes. Now you like that, and a lot of people might like it, and I don't know because I didn't watch the whole show. I only saw the pilot episode basically.
And the
But
pilot
people
episode is weak.
people were aggravated with all of the flashbacks because it happened throughout the whole season.
It was mostly in flashback, the whole
Yeah.
series.
And I could see where that would be very aggravating.
personally, I thought the flashbacks were the best part of the show because it actually gave you the real story of the show.
Yeah.
And the stuff that was happening now was all derivative off of the flashbacks. So that was really the show.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
That does make sense, but you can't put a whole show together off of flashbacks.
I think part of the problem is it just looked so goofy.
It did.
The characters looked so goofy.
I did not like.
They look.
Like the character design and like the suits.
What was the kids' hero movie that just came out not all that long ago? But it looks very cheesy. The Jupiter's Legacy. Ascending. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That was
Jupiter Ascending.
No,
that was a horror movie too.
That was a long time ago.
Jupiter's Legacy looked very corny and cheesy to me from the suits.
It does look like that. It isn't the show that it ends up being, but anytime then they're in the present, it has that corny factor. But the past stuff doesn't.
I held out hope for the show because isn't it Josh Duhamel is the main guy?
He's one of those guys I recognize him, but I'm not.
I'm pretty sure it's Josh Duhamel is the main guy with the gray hair as Jupiter.
Right, but in the flashbacks, he doesn't look like that. And
and I understand that, but I'm saying like the main photos that they put out of the show were
he's
him
from
with the
Minot, North Dakota.
Okay,
just so
Great.
you know.
I'm glad I know that now. I thought it was goofy and kind of corny looking the way he looked. It is very accurate to the way the comic book looked. I do agree with that. I thought it looked weird. But I also thought of that of The Witcher. And I said that in a previous episode when you were talking about the show. I thought Henry Cavill looked a little bit weird as The Witcher because of his hair and the way he looked. And I had a certain opinion of that show before I watched it. Then I watched The Witcher, and I obviously loved that. If you listen to any episode previous to this one, you will hear me talk about how much I loved that show. So that's why I held out hope for Jupiter's Legacy as being something that could be good, and I didn't want to have like a certain perception of the show just by their looks.
Right.
But other people obviously have an issue.
The new show that's coming out is Super Crooks.
Yeah, based off of the villains.
The
right?
thing I didn't like about it is I liked Josh Duhamel, and that is who it was, in the flashback scenes. And I felt like they gave him the white hair and the beard and all the characters, really. The main characters the main show is the flashbacks, and those are the main characters.
But
and
it's about the kids taking over, right?
That's not what this show is about. It's about the origin of how these original people got their powers. Okay. And then the present scenes are about their children.
Yeah.
But it seems like they took all of the characters that were in the flashbacks, and in the current scenes, they just gave them white hair and beards. And even the mom, they just gave her white hair. Even though they didn't age the characters, they tried to age them by giving them white hair and beards, which might be the case in the comics, but it looked dumb.
Well, no, in the comics, I mean, they look aged.
Sounds like they pushed it through. Pretty fast.
Well, they had a lot of issues with COVID. So this was filming in the middle of COVID. They had to stop filming, and then they basically had to just cut together a show with whatever they had already filmed.
Oh man,
that's bad.
And that is pretty much one of the big issues that they ran
that's
into.
Not good.
I still recommend it. I thought it was really good, but now knowing that there's no season 2, it is a complete story. You don't need a season 2.
Oh, you don't?
Not to tell the story of the flashback, which is really what the story is.
Yeah.
It sets up more of a universe, and it sounds like they're going to do more of a universe. So they might just take the children or the kids and go from here on out to the future because they're probably cheaper.
Right.
I mean, those actors are probably cheaper. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, that made me think of one thing when you mentioned The Witcher. So I was listening to Fat Man Beyond the other day with Kevin Smith, one of my favorite podcasts.
Yes.
And he was talking about Henry Cavill being cast as the Highlander. I think we talked about it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
And how
probably before them.
I thought he thought it was great. And he was talking about how he liked Henry Cavill as Superman, but didn't give him the range that he should have had. And he just casually says, he goes, and they had that whole show, The Witcher, but that's never anything that I would watch. That's just how he said it. Kevin Smith.
Really?
What?
And I'm like, I don't even know what. I was going to call him and be like, what are you doing, Kevin?
Because we can do that.
Yeah. He has responded to my tweets before.
Just that one time.
I mean, one time.
One time. Yeah.
It was
Me
about
and
agriculture.
Jerry were super excited because we were going to get Kevin Smith to do a cameo on our show.
Yeah.
And he's on the website Cameo where you can pay like celebrities to do like a shout out or a little video. And we were going to have him do like an advertisement for our podcast. The greatest idea. And it all goes to charity. It's
Love it.
great. Until he finally came available. He's only like available at certain times. And we realized it was $500 to get him to do a cameo, which
A lot of money.
both me and Jerry are like, it's right on the edge of what we would pay and what's too much. So like if it was $300, we wouldn't even
Yes,
think about
but-
it.
Absolutely, let's do that.
You got to figure it's only $250 a piece.
I know we were.
I've
it's
seen
right
both
on
you.
the
I've
edge.
seen you spend that much money, $500
Listen,
on something a
I
lot
can't-
dumber than that.
I can't tell you how many dumb things I've spent a lot of money on. But
We all have.
yeah,
But we got
I just bought a camper for God's sakes that I'm never going to use.
We got to put things
Till
in
next
perspective.
summer.
We got to put things in perspective here, though. Like, I'm not
I just don't think it's going to get us $500 worth of.
views
Yeah.
or listens. I don't know. It'd be great to
We'll
have
have to
him say
ask,
something.
ask our advertisers.
Yeah, I guess so. That's all the news I got.
We got a lot of time, but do you want to just do like what you were watching and see how long that goes
Yep.
for?
That's all
Oh, we got to do our homework.
Oh, yeah.
We got a whole nother segment, Snarf Talk Homework.
Which is The
The
Phantom.
Phantom.
We gave it 2 weeks and then an extra week because
Because I suck.
Chris sucks.
Before we get into that, homework for next week is due next week. We announced it last week and you got till next week.
So excited.
That's how that works. The Snarf Talk homework coming up for next week is Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy.
Oh, another
Yes.
classic.
Have you
Oh.
found where you can find it? Because I haven't even looked.
Warren Beatty, man.
No, you looked it
I
up
think
last
you might
episode.
have to rent it.
You have to rent it. I think it's like $2, $3,
Yeah.
something like that. I'm
Warren-
going to buy it because it's one of my favorite movies.
Mine too.
I love it so much. So you already know my
It
take
came
on
out
it.
right on the heels of Batman, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
did.
it is
They're,
right
they're,
around-
They're right on the heels.
Also
of the superhero.
based on a comic strip, just like the Phantom.
Of course. We met the original creator of Dick Tracy, and he drew me a Dick Tracy.
That movie has
on
a
a
lot
board.
of big names in it.
Boy, I
People
don't
don't
remember
realize
that at all.
You don't?
No.
Yeah. We met him at a Comic-Con, and he drew me a Dick Tracy and put his signature on it. I have it in my office.
Oh, I guess I do kind of remember that.
I love it.
I don't know where you can stream it yet because I haven't tried to watch it, but that is the homework for next week. The Phantom homework, however, is due now.
Right now. What I will say is it's almost a repeat of what you've already said. Is it's a very Indiana Jones-ish right off the bat. Like you get that right off the bat because
It's trying to be very.
Well, it
Indiana
also
Jones.
came out right after.
no, this was like 96.
No, it came out in like the mid to late 90s.
So I was 95. And when did Last Crusade come out? 93, 92?
Boy, I don't even know. Early 90s for sure.
It's
yeah, it would
definitely
have been similar time
Yeah.
frame, I guess.
it's definitely playing off of that.
Yeah.
It has an adventure feel.
Well, other than the fact that probably the Phantom was around way before Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a comic strip from the
Well, Indiana
30s.
Jones is a true Lucas.
Yeah, it's a
But
Lucas.
George Lucas.
All I'm saying is based off of the film.
That's his whole thing. He did the whole from start to finish. It was his design. It was his character.
His character, his universe. Steven Spielberg did the directing, but
Correct.
and he didn't write the. I don't know who wrote the scripts, but yes, it was his. It's a George Lucas creation.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know that. The Phantom?
No.
Indiana Jones.
Oh, I was gonna say like what? This doesn't make any sense to
No,
me.
I'm sorry.
So the Phantom, yes, it has remnants of that, but a lot of that's just the idea that's already based in the comic. So I mean, it is pretty. From what I know, very little about the Phantom, but I think it's pretty true to the source for the most part. Although I think originally the Phantom was in the place that he lives, which I can't remember, Bugali Forest. or something.
Bugali
Yeah,
Forest.
Bugali
Skull.
Was in Africa, and then it's in Asia. And this one, it's like an India type situation.
I will say that, honestly, my guy, Billy Zane,
He's pretty good.
he does a very good job. He's ripped.
Yeah.
I think he plays the character very
He
well.
does a better job out of costume.
Correct.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. Like in costume, he's a different person than he is out of costume. Out of costume, I think he does a better job acting and portraying like a real person.
Kind of reminds me of the George Clooney Batman because he was a better Bruce Wayne than he was an actual Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. In this case, being in this obnoxious purple suit
It's insane.
just really takes away from everything they're trying to do. So the movie as a whole, I would say, is very good.
I wouldn't say it's serviceable.
For what I was coming in,
I was never
is-
bored.
this is all based off of expectation, like we've talked about before.
I had very low expectations.
So coming into the show or coming into the movie, I had such a low expectation for this. You told me things about it, and I ignored all of them and thought this is going to be hot garbage. Like I don't want to see this, and I'm gonna watch it because I have to for this show. I didn't want to watch this movie by any means, but coming into it with that low of expectation,
it's not bad.
it's not bad at all. It was pretty fun.
It is a fun adventure movie.
Like Nolan said, Roger Ebert, 2 thumbs up, loves it.
Well, one thumb up.
Was it 1 thumb up?
Well, he's only got one thumb, and Gene
I thought he
Siskel
had-
had the other thumb.
That's true. I mean, he does have 2 physical thumbs, right?
I thought it was good. Up to
No,
like the last
the other
20
one he
minutes.
lost in the war.
He lost.
See, I remember watching it as a kid and just loving it, and then I've seen it multiple
It's a
times.
great
since
kids
then.
movie. It'd be a great kids movie.
Well, it's very typical of the early '90s action movies where it's over the top. It's meant to be.
Boy, is it.
A lot
yeah.
of horseback riding.
Yeah, in New York,
Yeah.
and he slides down the elevator shaft with 2 1911s as his hand grips.
Yeah,
so-
and he never
Yes, he does.
shoots anybody.
Never
I never
shoots
saw him
anything.
fire one of those guns. He's constantly pulling them out. Never saw him fire one.
No, never does anything. Isn't it Selma Hayek?
Yeah, it's Catherine
Or
Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
yeah.
I feel opposite of that.
I thought she was pretty good.
Honestly, I thought she was a little bit more over the top acting
Well,
than anybody
listen,
else.
Everybody is over the top.
It's the
I
early
know.
'90s, man.
It is the worst
mid-90s.
acting. I mean, every character is so
what's
over the top.
what's the
I get it, but
protagonist, the bad guy's name in it?
Okay, I have a whole thing I want to discuss about this.
okay, go.
This guy is doing everything in this movie. He is so over the top, but I enjoyed it. I thought his character was so tongue-in-cheek ridiculous.
See, that's what
Yes.
makes it enjoyable for me. Is that
He did a good job with that because if the director came to him and said, I want you to be the most over-the-top ridiculous villain that you could possibly ever imagine,
He nailed it.
he nailed it. It's like so campy. It's got to be on purpose. There is no way that this guy plays the role like
I
this
don't know how it
without
could be.
being on purpose. At one point, what about the microscope where he stabs the dudes in the eye?
In the eye, yeah.
That's crazy. And then at one point, he literally throws a spear across a boardroom and just spears this mob boss against the wall.
I mean,
But
what
that's
I
not
would
even
do.
the point. When he puts the 2 skulls together to get the map, and he's just like, ah! This guy is going all out, balls to the wall.
And he did a phenomenal job at
Yes.
that. My problem was, like, you expected it from that character because it was right off the bat. Like, you knew the villain was going to be that way. Catherine Zeta-Jones comes in a little bit downplayed at first, but then, I don't know. I did not enjoy her acting. I did not enjoy her throughout the movie.
I just like how the one scene where she tries to act, she's like set up as this hard ass, and she's holding the one girl at gunpoint basically. And the Phantom comes in and just takes the gun from her, and the chick just punches her in the face.
It's
and
right in the
so
beginning.
Yes.
He comes in the room. Like, she's super hard ass, pointing the gun at this girl, and she's in charge of everything. And he literally just, like, walks in the room and takes the gun from her out of nowhere.
And she kisses him.
Yes!
because
And then
he's a
she's in
Phantom,
love.
man.
It doesn't make any...
That's
that
the whole next scene. When they go to New York, and she's just like, she's in love with the Phantom, and he's in love with her. And they met for like 2 seconds.
I did not enjoy those.
Well, they were friends back in college.
Well, that's true. They were.
Yeah, friends in college.
I don't
You
care.
watched it. Did you watch it, or do you just remember that?
I remember it.
That's
Wow,
amazing.
that's
What do you want to know
Good.
about the movie? I can tell you. I haven't
That's
seen it.
really, really amazing that you remember that.
I just
Because
wasn't
that's
a
kind
fan
of a
her
confusing
character.
plot point that you don't really.
Well-
You're like, why? What? How do they know each other?
Well, they were friends in college, and they dated right after college, if I remember correctly. And then he moved away for a family emergency because his dad got killed. You mean he's Kit Walker, the Ghost that Walks?
He totally watched.
You
this
just
movie.
watched this movie.
There's no way that you remember any of that.
Swear to God.
I
He got
completely calling bullshit
So
on that.
his father shot. His father used a peacemaker, and he got stabbed in the side right on the.
Got
on his
stabbed in
gun
the back.
No, on his back, on his side. Look it up. telling you.
What am I looking up?
I
He got
stabbed
stabbed.
him to the hilt.
He got stabbed on
And
the
he
side,
lived.
not on the back.
In the
I
side,
like
not
that
the back.
bad guy. The like the
What do I don't even know what I
All right, it
looked
doesn't
up.
matter.
It's not.
The
It's not important.
He
Jared.
says several times he was stabbed in the back. It's like a main point.
I don't
in the
think he
show-
got stabbed in
movie.
the back. I think he got stabbed in the side.
It's like a main point in the movie that he got stabbed
Okay.
in the back. He says at one point, "I was literally stabbed in the back."
Stabbed in the
Irrelevant.
Side. It is really irrelevant.
So, the other thing that jumps out at me of this movie is the Phantom himself is the worst and most ineffectual hero.
doesn't work.
He does everything wrong. He never wins anything.
Right.
He's always losing or being one-upped at
Yeah.
every turn,
And this was
except for like right at the end, I guess.
besides Catherine Zeta-Jones.
The one punch.
Yeah.
What about the shimmying across the shoreline of the boat in the middle of the day
In the middle of the day in a purple
in a
suit,
purple suit?
because nobody would notice that.
So yeah, that was ridiculous. But actually, the production value is quite good.
It is good.
Like the whole scene with the airplane where they jump off the airplane on the horse.
The
Yes.
seaplane.
Yeah, the seaplane.
I mean, ridiculous, but
So-
Of
also
course.
it looks like they really did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it honestly looks like
They
a
spent
man
some money.
really climbed down onto the float of the seaplane to try to land on a horse. Obviously, they didn't really drop onto a horse, but they spent some money on this stuff. And when I found out when it was actually made in the mid '90s, and then I didn't look that up until after I watched the movie, or during the movie, I was on IMDb to look up when this stuff came out. I think they did a really good job, and a lot of people liked it. It's
I also really like the cab driver that he pays in rubies.
I don't
forgot
remember
about
him.
that. Wasn't it was just gems. He
He
throws
pays him
pile
like
of
a handful of gems.
yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
Looks like an
this.
angry
was-
cab driver, and he doesn't have any money. He gives him like Bengali currency or whatever, and the guy's all mad, and he gives him like a handful of gems, and then he goes into this meeting, and he comes out, and the cab driver's still there, and he's like, "Hey, while you were in that meeting for 10 minutes, I had those stones appraised. You got my services all day."
I do remember that part. I don't remember him giving him the gems, but I,
I do.
remember him saying
So
Also, I
so
thought Buffy was pretty good.
she was good.
Buffy. Who was Buffy?
That chick who played Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like the lead
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No.
no, that's the TV.
in the movie.
Oh, in the movie.
He's too young
Yeah,
to remember.
no,
that.
isn't that the person?
No,
He's
it's
too
the
young to remember that actual
chick
movie.
who played Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie
Oh, I don't remember
from the
that.
early 90s.
That sounds like it needs to be another Snarf homework.
That's a great movie.
It is. It's horrible.
It's not horrible. That's a good movie.
Who is it?
The chick that plays
chick-
the lead in that movie.
You don't know
Yeah,
her name.
She's only ever done those two things. The Phantom and Buffy.
I think you're right.
I mean, I'm sure she's had
No,
like
no.
other small roles, but nothing. She never hit again after that.
So right after the Phantom came out, there was an anime series that was put out, and it was on MTV. It's called Phantom 2050 or Phantom 2080. It's
yes, I vaguely remember.
you remember
that.
watching that?
Yes,
and
I
he
did watch
had the
that.
pistols that came out from his hips, and he could shoot people.
Yeah,
It's cool.
It's been a running comic series too. DC had it, and then Dynamite had it.
Christy Swanson.
Yeah.
That's it.
Christy Swanson.
She was Buffy.
She did
I
something
see her
else.
here, but man, I don't remember her.
She did something else. I can't remember what the hell it was.
I don't know. Some of the other actors were good, like the guy who plays her uncle,
Uncle.
who owned the newspaper.
Oh yeah.
He was pretty good. Some of the other actors were decent. It's just hard to get over the villain.
She was in
He-
Big Daddy.
As what role?
I don't know.
Adam
Just says-
Sandler's girlfriend.
No.
The one that married the old guy.
Yeah, that's him. That's
Oh
her.
yeah.
I knew
And
she was
so-
from something. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
is
he's like,
her.
Hope you like old balls.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What's his 5-year plan? Not to die.
Not to die. Yeah. So all in all, I think it's a fun movie.
It is. It is a
that
good.
was better than I ever expected because, like I said, I came in with very low expectation.
Yeah. If you
Everybody always talks about the purple suit. It's not that big of a deal. It is what it is. Like that's, you just have to believe like that's the character. You know, it's the same with Batman. Like Batman's suit is ridiculous too. He's a guy in a bat suit.
Right.
Of course, like that's weird. The only difference is like in the Phantom, the purple suit is like always in the daytime.
and also like he
It's like-
never does anything.
And he doesn't
He has
do-
no superpowers except for the ring
anything.
that deflects laser beams from 2 other skulls.
Yeah, he doesn't. But that barely does anything.
I know. I agree with you.
He has 2 guns that he never shoots.
Right.
He's very
Yeah, well,
athletic.
he shoots
So
them,
they
just
needed
not
to
at
put
people.
they needed to put a little more effort into like character development for the Phantom
yeah.
to make him be a superhero and make him be somebody that is worth
Well, he's not a superhero. He's more of a crime fighter.
or okay,
So I would like to actually
vigilante
see a remake of
or whatever you want to
actual
call it. But
true, movie nowadays with where you can actually do a good interpretation of the Phantom.
It'll
As a-
never be done.
no.
Why is that?
White savior. It's not woke enough. It's a white. No, seriously.
No, I know.
Like the big thing that Hollywood won't do is white savior movies. They would never take a village in India or Africa and have a white. I guess they could cast it not white or not American,
Well, that's what they're doing a lot of.
and that would be fine. That would be fine, probably for that because nobody cares.
Yeah, but how could you have a character with the name of Kit? Well, I guess you could. You can do
Just
anything
change
you want.
it. I mean, nobody knows.
That's the whole point of Kit Walker. He's a ghost.
Oh
of
no,
Lost.
there's always people that know, and
Speaking
there's
of
always
that,
a news
So
article.
what this got me down a rabbit hole last night as I was finishing it of looking up like when is the copyright, when is it public domain, the Phantom, because it's been around since like the 20s or 30s. I'm like, it's got to be pretty soon, and it is. But that brought me down a second rabbit hole when it said in 2034 Batman is public domain.
It's like right around the corner.
Yeah, but only the original incarnation of the character, the very first incarnation of the character, which wouldn't have the Joker, Robin, the Batcave, the Batmobile, none of that. That's all later.
Really?
So the original Batman from Detective Comics will be public domain in 2034.
That's a lot
If
sooner
you
than I ever.
pee in that toilet, so we can hear it,
He's
I'm
gonna-
going to kill you.
No, he's going to. So all in all, what would you rank it as something that somebody should watch? Like 1 through 10, 10 being like you absolutely need to watch it.
Well, definitely.
1
I mean,
being
in what type of consumer?
the consumer that we speak to weekly. I mean, I don't know.
I think
our
if you
audience.
want a fun, old school, nostalgic 90s action movie or adventure movie, and one that also children could enjoy, I think it's a solid watch. I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
That's what I was going to go with. A
Really?
6. Yeah, I had a 6 dead set in my mind that I would give it. It's not below a 5. It's not above a 7.
It's definitely not a must watch, but if you want to watch something like nostalgic and old school, that honestly doesn't feel that old. Like it feels...
It didn't feel old to me at all.
No, it feels pretty current because,
It
honestly,
felt-
it's well made.
It felt newer to me than I ever expected. I thought it was going to feel like Darkman.
It actually didn't even feel like the time it was set in, which would have been the 50s.
Oh no, it
Or
didn't
40s,
at all.
right?
No, yeah, I thought it was going to feel like a Darkman film to me,
It was very bright.
where it was
Surprisingly bright.
older looking film, but yeah, it was very bright, very well shot.
Vibrant.
It looks very good. So it's a solid 6.
Yeah,
6.1 I'll give it.
that's fair enough. What was our first Snarf homework? Darkman.
Well, we had Darkman, yeah. I don't think we gave it a score, but we're going to from
Okay,
here on out.
I like Darkman as like a cult classic, but this is probably a better movie. I don't know about better movie, but it's definitely more mainstream
Watchable.
entertainment watchable.
More watchable
for sure. I mean, it's not even close, really.
No, it's not anywhere close. I don't.
And this is better.
think-
You never watched The Shadow. We'll have to return to it, or maybe we'll talk about it when you watch it.
Yeah.
It's better than The Shadow. Shadow's good though.
You think so?
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway,
So that's the Snarf Talk homework. Next week it will be Dick Tracy,
Dick
and I'm so
Tracy.
excited for this. I'm going to talk. Your
can we
ear
just go
off.
all comic strip movies? Like next we'll do Garfield, the Bill
Yeah,
Murray
that's-
Garfield,
I don't know if we need to do that.
and then we'll do Kathy.
No, we need to do.
Did they ever make a movie version?
Who
of
Framed Roger Rabbit?
That wasn't a comic strip.
No, but it feels comic-y.
Yeah, but we have to do. How have they never made a Calvin and Hobbes movie? How is that possible?
I think they have
We could watch the Peanuts movie.
the Peanuts.
What other comic strips have been made in the movies? I'm gonna look.
Are
at
we
that.
only talking about comic strips?
Yeah, comic strips.
I mean, Dick Tracy was a comic book.
Shadow.
No,
you
it
guys
was a
talking about
comic
Shadow?
strip.
It started as a comic strip. It
The
went
Shadow?
into a comic book.
You want to know a list of comics and comic? That's comics and comic strips. I don't want that. List of comic strips. Oh, here we go. List of films based on comic strips. The Addams Family. And all the Addams families. Private Snuffy Smith. Okay, I gotta find some newer stuff. Blondie. They made Blondie.
Goldie Hawn.
These are all super old.
Yeah, they all are.
Dennis the Menace.
Comic strips only happened in the 50s,
Dick Tracy.
60s.
Flash Gordon.
Oh,
Flash.
that.
Garfield. Heathcliff the movie.
Heathcliff, not good.
Flash Gordon was.
I love Flash Gordon. That should be on
I
the
haven't.
list.
I haven't watched that in a long time. I remember being
Annie. Little
okay.
Orphan Annie.
Life.
It was just made in 2014. That was their. Remember they made a new Annie.
Mm-hmm.
They
I mean,
woke
just as
that
bad
one
as
up too. I
Just as
think
bad as the
Oh,
first
it was
one.
all woked up.
the Phantom, Popeye.
Oh,
we
I
can watch
heard-
Popeye.
I would watch Popeye with Robin Williams.
Oh man,
Yes.
it's been a long time since I've seen that.
Beetle Bailey. They made The Spirit. They made that Spirit movie.
Oh, The Spirit. I would watch
Oh.
that.
I would watch that.
That's the
with
guy from
Gabrielle.
Suits.
Yeah, that's
I've
the
never
guy from
se-
Suits.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
Neither have I.
you know,
And they filmed that the same way they did
terrible reviews. For The Spirit.
something.
It was
what
like
is
Sin
it?
City.
Sin
Sin City
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
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 Somebody get me a tie.
So
Gabriel
literally, there
Rodriguez.
are some movies we could watch if we wanted to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, we could.
There was some more here. Hold on. There's a bunch that are just old. A lot of them Blondie. There's like 300 Blondie movies from the 1940s.
I just want everyone to understand how excited I am for Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy. What should be our next one after that? We can figure that out now.
The Mask.
No.
No.
Yes.
Have you done the Shadow?
Jim Carrey's The Mask.
I'm not watching that. No.
Have you guys done the Shadow? Yes or no? I can't remember. I think we
We
did. That.
did, but
We did.
Jerry never did it.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes. Me and you did it. Or
Yes,
I did it.
I did it. I went and watched it
I
again.
think, yeah, I remember you did too.
Alec,
Jerry never did it.
It's Alec Baldwin,
Alec Baldwin, yeah. Eric
who is a heroin drug lord, and he turns into a superhero
Yeah.
by a mystical knife.
And he's got a big nose.
Yes, he does. He's got
Yes.
a big prosthetic nose.
Yeah.
All right, we got some time left. Let's do some what we're watching.
I got one.
I got two.
I got two.
Who
right.
goes first?
For All Mankind.
Well, you guys got
Go ahead,
two,
dude.
so go
I started
for it.
watching For All Mankind. I was intrigued. I'd heard good reviews about it, and the first episode, within the first like 2 minutes, I was like
Oh, yeah.
just off my edge of my seat. I'm like,
Really? You liked
Yeah.
it that much?
Oh, yeah.
well, the whole aspect of it, where we did not land on the moon first.
We didn't get to the moon. The Russians did.
beat us, and then that was like,
Freaking Rasputin.
Yeah. His
Uh,
Big Johnson got to the moon first.
I was just I loved the aspect of that. What drove us to get there after that?
The cool part of I've only seen a little over half of the first season.
Mm-hmm.
But what I liked of that first half of that season is that seeing like the absolute like aggravation and
Correct.
like anger that all of the astronauts had from the U.S. side of things that they didn't get there and what we could have done and this is what we should have been doing.
We didn't take risks.
Yes, all this kind of stuff, and then how it affected them at home.
So I'm gonna give. Maybe I shouldn't, but
That's all I saw though.
They bring female astronauts into it, and I think it was done correctly and the right way it should have. And I really enjoyed that aspect of bringing female astronauts into the space program much earlier than what was really done.
You know the best part about that is they're lighter. They love female astronauts because they're less payload.
Yeah.
They talk about that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I really enjoyed it. I'm on season 2, middle of season 2. And then, of course, the Bad Batch.
Speaking of women, though, the Phantom. Strong female representation, strong female characters for a mid-'90s movie.
Absolutely.
And
Well, it's Buffy the Vampire
done
Slayer.
pretty well.
Listen up. There's a 19-year-old girl that has finished all of her training to be an astronaut. She is an astronaut. And she is selected as the first person to go to a manned mission to Mars. Mm-hmm. That is a real thing that is going to happen. You don't hear about it in the news. Nobody's
Isn't
ever
that
talked
sad?
about it. Nobody's ever said anything about it. But there is a 19-year-old girl that will be. I mean, it's already been selected. She is going to be the first person that is on a manned mission to Mars.
You know, in
Isn't that wild?
well, in
Yeah,
this,
let's throw out her name. Alyssa Carson,
Alyssa Carson. There you go.
Louisiana teen.
Amazing that she's went through this entire process to be the first person to go to Mars. I mean, and she's dedicating her life to this, a life that could end.
Wait, this is completely wrong. This says 13-year-old.
No, she's
no,
she's 19.
older. I think she started
This
when
is
she
a
was 13.
bad article. Forget it. Don't even talk about it. Forget about Alyssa Carson.
Okay. Now I'll look her up. You guys keep talking about something.
So what are you watching, Chris?
This says 29-year-old cancer survivor to become the youngest American to go to space. Okay.
No, she hasn't launched.
That's a great story though. This chick is 29 years old. She was becoming an astronaut. She got cancer, had to drop out, beat cancer, and now is going to space.
Good for her.
Haley, oh my gosh, Arcanu. She's a PA at St. Jude's. She's a crew member of the upcoming Inspiration 4 mission that will launch via a SpaceX rocket.
No, this is Alyssa Carson.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Yeah. The 19-year-old college student is the
Bone
youngest ever astronaut in training, and she's got her eyes set on Mars. So
This must have been an old article when she was 13 that I'm reading, or I was reading.
and this one is from February 18th, 2021.
Oh, so that's way old news.
So-
That doesn't even...
Really? So she was 19 this year, and from February 2021, she has completed her astronaut training. She is a legitimate astronaut.
It just says positioning themselves to be the first astronaut to go to Mars.
Correct. That's the only reason she's training to be an astronaut. Like, the only reason she wanted to be an astronaut is to go to Mars. So she is now officially...
Youngest person to ever graduate from the Advanced Space Academy at 16.
She's officially an astronaut through NASA. And her goal is to be the first person to go to Mars.
She should be our hero.
She's not...
Not LeBron Flop James.
Or shit.
Obviously, like,
You got poked in
NASA,
the eye.
NASA has never said they're sending anybody to Mars. She said she's going to be the first person to go to Mars. But she's also the youngest astronaut that has ever existed. And she's 19 years old as a female. This is all she's ever done. You never hear about it in the news. And I think it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
But you will hear about Kylie Jenner wearing a swimsuit or getting whatever she gets. But then this young lady dedicates her life to like an educational process and becoming something that is like so like above what we could understand? Like, could you understand being an astronaut or going through that training?
You want to know the most adorable thing about it is her call sign, Blueberry.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It references her time at Space Academy.
That's
It's her call sign. The nickname astronauts. She got Blueberry because the second time she went to space camp, when she was really little, she wanted one of the blue flight suits because she wanted to be an astronaut. So I wanted to look like one. I was too short and small to fit into any of the flight suits, so my dad ended up finding a knockoff, like not really the right shade of blue. When I wore it, everybody told me it made me look like a blueberry. So after that, throughout the day and the rest of the time at space camp, they would just say, "Oh, Blueberry."
There's a movie for you to watch.
She's my hero.
There's a movie, Space Academy.
She says,
Oh yeah,
You remember that?
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Space Camp.
testing.
That's it. Space Camp. Was
Yeah.
it Space Camp?
It's Space Camp. Yeah.
She says, testing the soil, studying the atmosphere, looking for signs of bacterial life in the water that's on Mars, colonizing, terraforming. All of those have
She's
of been.
already finished a PhD in astrobiology.
I know. She's amazing. All of those have been kind of thrown out there and mentioned. How realistic is that? How long would that take? I don't know. I want to find out, Carson said. That young lady is so far beyond what I can even comprehend in my mind. I mean, this is what we need to talk about.
Let's go, Blueberry. Team Blueberry.
Let's go, Blueberry. We are Team Blueberry.
This podcast is officially Team Blueberry.
100% Team Blueberry. I want people to talk about her.
Alyssa Carson.
The first 19-year-old, or the youngest female astronaut.
Okay.
I think the youngest astronaut of all time.
Let's get back to what we're watching.
It's your turn. I've only got one, so you guys each had two.
I have two. We can talk about the Bad Batch because that's one of mine.
Whatever.
I'm not current. I'm on like 4. I think there's 5 out.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Is there 5 out or no?
There's 5 out.
Okay.
So on the first couple, I was a little bit like ambivalent towards it. In fact, it took me a while to catch up because I'm like, I liked it. It's fine. I never was a huge fan of the Bad Batch stuff in the last Clone Wars season.
Oh man.
No, that was my least favorite part of the season.
Really?
I agree.
Yeah. So
I disagree.
when this one came out, I'm like, I don't really want or need this. After like watching all 4 episodes that I watched, so the 3 and the 4, it's starting to grow on me. Definitely. I hope there's more. I don't know how many there are.
Probably 8 or 10.
I think there's 10.
One thing that's amazing is, and Jerry said this real early, and I kind of disagreed with you a little bit because I said,
which you normally do.
yeah,
Until you understand that, Jerry's normally right.
the animation definitely is way better.
Oh yeah.
They spent more money. It's very smooth.
Yes.
It's got still the same style, that blocky style,
Well, if you go
but
back,
just better.
if you go back and watch the original Clone Wars animated movie, and then you go back and watch the final season of Clone Wars, the animation is leaps and bounds.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is even better.
But
I agree.
It's not as
They
good as
keep-
Rebels.
But they keep the same look.
They keep the same look, but the
It's just
animation is more fluid.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. The
And there's-
fluidity.
there's
of
less-
the cartoon.
There's more movement. There's less still scenes. So there, in animation where there'll be like a background with the characters just moving because they want to save
Multiple
on
Yes.
things are
animation costs. They're not doing this.
Yeah,
in this.
right.
They're making it like a movie.
Yeah.
And it probably costs a lot more money to do that. I'm starting to enjoy the characters, and enjoy the fact that it's like a episode by episode story, but with linking parts. And I really like the last episode I watched where they brought in the character from The Mandalorian, blanking on her name, the bounty hunter, Fennec,
Fennec, call it Fennec. I don't remember.
something like that.
The
Is it
sniper
Fennec
lady.
Shaw?
Fennec Shaw.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sniper lady, and it actually looks like Ming Na Wen. It's her doing the voice acting.
Oh.
So it's her voice, and they touch on that in episode 5, we'll call it, where she is new to the scene. She is just starting out.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I heard
I like
some,
that.
some
Which?
ideas from the ether that maybe she is. So this would
Yoda.
jive with
She
what
might be
you're saying,
Yoda.
that she is trying to retrieve Omega for Boba Fett.
No, because Boba Fett's still a child.
In this,
You gotta remember, this is right after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, he
This
would
is-
be a
yeah,
child.
this is very young.
He's
so
young.
that's a bunk.
Well,
That was a fan theory is that she was trying to retrieve him because it would be Boba Fett's sister.
Hey, maybe
And
do
the
some.
only female clone.
Maybe do some research.
it very well
Chris.
could be. I mean, he may be. I don't think he. That's
No,
interesting.
but they don't become linked up until way later on, as we see in the
So,
Mandalorian.
but my theory, which I saw from day one of it, was my theory, and then other people on the internet had the same theory as me. And now, the more and more I look into it, is that what we talked about, that she's actually a Jedi. She is a force sensitive clone, which is the first step to cloning a Jedi.
Now, and I don't care about spoilers. Do they actually set her up as force sensitive in any way?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I'm
I don't know. I've
doubtful
never-
of
So in episode
theory.
5, do you want me to spoil episode 5 for you or not?
I don't care. I don't care about
So
spoilers.
there's a young Rancor in there that is directly being obtained for Jabba the Hutt.
I have heard
Oh.
officially that is not the same Rancor that Luke fights in Return of the Jedi.
You've heard officially from who?
They released that. I read it as a news
I
article.
believe you're wrong because it's the same name as the one guard mentions in
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
I read an article, I think
Your article's wrong.
yesterday, that was saying that it is not the same
It's a
Rancor.
bullshit
is
article.
this the same website that said that Boba Fett's trying to retrieve his sister?
I heard it from Dictor Von Doom.
Doom?
Just saying.
Anyway,
Is it?
so I'm enjoying it a little more. I'm starting to get into it. It's just
Well,
taking
they're-
me a little bit.
They're
but I'm starting
dropping
to
a
get into
lot
it.
of Easter eggs, man.
They definitely dropped some Easter eggs.
Because this is the first time in the Star Wars universe where it's directly after the fall of the Empire, where you have no idea what's going on.
So do they bring in what's the video game Fallen Order?
Not that I've seen yet.
I think that is coming
So,
somewhere.
so you're
I don't
talking.
know.
Wait.
so you're talking about the video game.
I'm wondering if they're going to bring that character.
The video game's like 10 years after what's going on right now.
No, the video game is right after Order 66, literally.
Literally, that Jedi, they have not played. No, they have not, to answer your question.
I know they're going to bring him in somewhere.
Here's my question.
So my whole theory is that if you look out there on Reddit and some things are out there, there is a series coming called The New Jedi Order, which they're playing
Yeah.
into it. Luke Skywalker, Baby Yoda, Grogu, and all these Jedi that we have figured out have survived Order 66.
Right, and we know the guy from Fallen Order survived.
Correct. And also there's from Rebels, Ezra Bridger. He's out there, which is directly going to tie into Ahsoka.
Correct.
So, and there's all these Jedi that survived, and there's one Jedi they haven't touched on, which is a fan favorite, which is Starkiller from the Force Unleashed, which was a cloned. Vader and Palpatine cloning him. So that's a whole nother thing that Lucasfilm kind of put it to the side. So I think they're going to bring that character back. I really do.
Here's my question, real
It'll
quick.
be interesting.
If this happened after the fall of the Empire, why is Boba Fett?
No, this
Young.
Bad Batch happened right after Order 66.
Yes.
But you said the fall of the Empire.
No,
Sorry,
Fall
I
of the
misspoke.
Republic.
Fall of the Republic.
Oh, okay.
That was me.
That's what threw me off.
Sorry,
'cause I was
that
like,
was
wait a
my
minute.
bad. My bad.
Like if it was the fall of the Empire, Boba Fett wouldn't be.
this would be about 20 years
Okay, that makes sense.
before Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, I get it now.
Correct, because
Ish.
That's
Because Luke Skywalker was like
'Cause-
19, 20 years
Yes.
old, right?
yeah, because Luke is literally a baby right now.
a teenager.
No, right now in
Right,
the Bad
he's a
Batch,
baby,
he's
yeah.
a baby.
He was just born.
Oh,
that is
okay.
Order 66, basically. is
Correct.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
you're
correct.
right. Yep. Okay.
You
But-
got one?
I have one.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I believe there's a whole lot coming with the Bad Batch that's going to tie all the universes together, all these different shows.
Yeah, I agree.
I have one completely different. It has nothing to do with Star Wars. Do you guys know Bo Burnham?
Yeah,
Bo Burnham.
for sure.
He has a special on Netflix right now called Bo Burnham Inside.
Really?
And this is a comedy special. I have never seen anything like this ever before. Nobody has. This is the first of its kind. And I don't know if it's like super good or not. I don't know how to explain it to you. But Bo Burnham recorded himself locked in his apartment during COVID because he was in California.
I'm already annoyed.
So listen, like he's in California, I would assume, I guess, but he's in a place where
Did you
he
say
literally
California?
Yeah, California, and he didn't leave his house, but he recorded himself on different camera equipment, and he decided to do a comedy special like in his own apartment. And he recorded everything, he edited everything, he directed everything on his own, and then obviously pitched it to Netflix and they accepted it, but he put it all together himself. So 100% of all of this is him. And there is a lot of singing, a lot of music, and I love that stuff. I love
and that's how
singing.
He always has a piano, right, or something.
He does, yeah. He's always been heavy on music for his stand-up, but he's had a lot of stand-up where he talks, but there's always music involved. But this is 100% like music-oriented. So it's an hour and a half long. I didn't finish it. I was like 30 minutes off from finishing it. I ended up falling asleep and didn't finish like the last 30 minutes. It gets very repetitive. So I kind of lost a little bit of interest in the second half of the special. But I'll tell you, in the beginning, I laughed a lot. I laughed out loud a lot. Amy was asking me, like, why? What is going on out here? It's like, this is pretty catchy. There are songs that he has made and things that he has done. Some of it is political, but it's on both aspects, right? It's like on both ends of the spectrum of political. It doesn't, like, he doesn't sway to one side compared to the other. You feel like he is swaying to one side compared to the other politically at certain aspects of the show. Like, you think, like, oh, he's super liberal at this aspect. But then all of a sudden he does something extremely conservative. And then he does something that is in the middle. And then he does something out of the normal, just talking about, like, Instagram white girls. And, like, there are so many songs that I thought were very, very, very funny and entertaining. And I think everybody will get something out of that special that they will think is hilarious. And the way he's put it together, like I said, at certain points you may get annoyed, and then all of a sudden the whole thing switches and it goes to a different point of view, and you're like, holy shit, like, this is pretty funny. And then he switches again and goes to a different point of view. And what you have to appreciate in this whole special is the editing that he's done. He's done all of this on his own, and the way he edited this special is beyond what I could think of. This is what I've wanted to do. I want to make a YouTube video that is funny, that I could play the piano and all of the drums and all of the music and be able to sing and make a funny video. And he's done it for an hour and a half. And I think it's something that nobody's seen before. I think there are points where you would be annoyed, Chris. Like, you would absolutely be annoyed. But you will get points out of this special that you'll be like, damn, like, that was pretty good.
Oh, I'll definitely watch it. I like him.
Yeah.
Because it's really good. And again, there are points in it that are, like, very dark, and it's like, well, that was a little overdone. And then the next thing that he cuts to is so light and ridiculous that you laugh at, and you're like, okay, well, maybe it's not that way.
That's probably the whole point.
It is. That's what you have to understand throughout the whole thing, is, like, that's the point of the special. It's like talking about the pandemic and being trapped alone, because he is alone, and not doing comedy anymore because he kind of quit for years until this special came out. And I don't know. It was really enjoyable for what I saw. And I think everybody would get something out of it that they would enjoy. And there are so many songs out of there that are really, really hilarious because all of it is music. 100%.
You pique my curiosity now.
Yeah.
No,
check it out.
I truly believe everybody should watch it. Like, watch some of it. Even if you are annoyed with it, I want to hear why you're annoyed and why you like it. Because there are things in there that will tie into your daily life. If you are on social media at all, you will get something out of there that you think like, yes, finally somebody talked about how ridiculous this was. And he made a music like video basically in his room by himself about it. But then there's aspects where he'll cut to himself just like trying to figure out like how to edit it or how to sing it or what he should do. It's like a behind the scenes while he's filming a special. It's cool. It's something you've never seen.
I will check it out.
Bo Burnham Inside.
Cool. I had one more. You were done, right, dude?
Yep.
I had one more, but we're out of time. So we will do it next week. I finished Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
I haven't.
Okay, so we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah,
then.
I'm halfway through 9 and I had to stop and lay with Graham one night. And I didn't get to watch episode 10.
And to
so-
adult.
Yeah, I did. I had to be a dad.
So I'm excited to talk about it because there's a lot to talk about with it, I think.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
I will absolutely
I-
finish this.
When you were talking about this show, I thought it was so ridiculous that you just kept talking about this show. And
I liked it.
Is it really
but
that good?
I was waiting to watch it with Cash, which I did, the entire series. He loved it. He's watched it like twice now.
I have to watch it with Bryce.
I enjoyed watching it with him. I enjoy watching things with my children when I can. Very rarely happens because they never want to watch anything but YouTube.
I know.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I will say I rather enjoyed it, but we'll talk about it more next week. From there, if you take a minute to like and share the podcast, that would be very helpful to us. Check out patreon.com/snarfcomics if you want to help support the show. Anything else you want to say, Jerry?
No, that
Dude.
wraps it up.
No.
For Snarf Talk with this week, I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
And I'm Dude.